episode of KAB Chats, your go-to online session for insightful discussions. My name is Sandra, and I am the co-host of the session. It's our 7th episode, and we are so excited to have Mr. Vincent Mabelizi, Instruction Design Officer, to take us through the realm of academic excellence through the lens of Google Scholar. He's already with us here in studio, and he is set to give us his presentation. The topic is titled Maximizing Academic Footprint, a comprehensive guide to Google Scholar. He's talking about everything Google Scholar, creating Google Scholar accounts, the process of claiming one's publications, the importance of updating a Google Scholar account, and how you can link it to the KAB staff profile. So for the academic staff or the upcoming researchers, this episode is designed to empower you. Let's share this link to our friends in faculties, to different academicians. We can also share this with administrators who think this topic could empower them. So without further ado, I extend a warm welcome to Mr. Vincent Mabelizi.
Good morning to colleagues. Thank you, Sandra, for introducing me. My name is Mabelizi Vincent, Instruction Design Officer, Kabale University. I work with the Directorate of Research, and I'm so excited today to share some insights about Google Scholar. The session is going to be both theoretical and practical. So at some point, we shall do some hands-on work, and at some point, we'll get some concepts. So allow me share my slides. Sandra, is my screen visible? Which speaker am I speaking through? Speak on the microphone at the same time. Okay, then let me unmute. Sandra, is my screen visible? Okay. Once again, colleagues, I'm so grateful to be here to share with you some insight about Google Scholar. The theme is maximizing your academic footprint, a comprehensive guide to Google Scholar. As an academician, having a Google Scholar account is more like having a social media platform. Therefore, today we are going to see to look at what Google Scholar is all about, why should someone have a Google Scholar account, and how to come up with this account. I already introduced myself. For those who have don't know me by face, I'm sure my camera is on. I introduce myself. My name is and I'm an instruction design officer at Kabale University and the current co-director of research and grants. Our discussion is going to revolve around these key points. We shall have a brief about Google Scholar. Then from there we shall see how we can operate a Google Scholar account. This one is done practically. Then how you can claim your publications. I know there are quite a number of staff members, students who have published work, but it's not aligned with their account. So we shall see how we can claim a paper. Then on the staff side, we shall see how to update your on the staff. That is the KAB website. Then we shall see how you can navigate Google Scholar. Google Scholar is a very big tool but some of our colleagues may not know how to effectively utilize it. And from there, there was a request about the process of finding a reputable non-predatory journal. So we shall look at that particular area. Now, let's understand what is talk about accounts. We need to know what is Google Scholar all about. So Google Scholar is for researchers or academicians. So take it in that that perspective from a there's a technical issue. I think that the slides are not moving. I beg to hold on just like a minute. I hope the slides are now visible. Okay, sorry for that interruption. I was talking about the benefits of having a Google Scholar account. One of the key benefits that you'll get as a Google Scholar user is a profile management. Now, when you have a Google Scholar account, you can create a personal profile that illustrates, that showcase your publications, citations, and H-index. Now, H-index is a metric that indicates the productivity or the impact of your research. How do you tell that your work is impactful? By the number of people who are reading your work, the citations, the recommendations. If you have if you're on other platforms like ResearchGate, when people recommend your research, of course you'll be able to see that your work is now impactful. Now, this profile that you set up on Google Scholar, it's a digital academic CV. Now, as an academician, you're not supposed to be only known on Facebook, Twitter, and some other social platforms. You're supposed to have a Google Scholar account, such that if someone wants, or they're interested in knowing what's all about you, what's your academic journey, what have you been able to achieve as far as academics is concerned, of course, you just share this Google Scholar profile, and someone will be able to see how much investment you have put in academia. So it's a very good approach for every staff member to have this digital academic CV in our great university. Next is networking opportunities. When you have a Google Scholar account, there is a connection or collaboration that comes along the way with fellow academicians across the world. And through these connections, we have seen colleagues getting grants, partnerships. We have seen people being recommended as the discussants on different platforms like summer schools, like workshops. So there are so many connections that comes along with Google Scholar account. People have traveled abroad through the Google Scholar. So if you have this Google Scholar account, you're able to link up with other people within your field of interest. So people will recommend you, and you get a connection with other professionals across the world. So it's very important to have this Google Scholar account. Next is the increased visibility and the impact. So when you have your publications indexed on Google Scholar and you maintain an active profile, it will increase the visibility and impact of your research. So this can lead to more citations, collaborations, recognitions within the academic community. For people who have published, you know how it's hard to publish a manuscript. You go through a lot. There are things like you share your manuscript with a journal. They will tarnish it. They will some deny. So you go through a lot of frustration. So when you publish your work and you see people citing it, you feel energized to continue publishing. And the only way you can know whether your work is being cited or whether there are people who are interested in your work is through having a Google Scholar account. Another benefit is alert and notifications. So when you set up a Google Scholar account, as we shall see, there are sections where you can personalize your account so that whenever there are some interesting topics, interesting papers that have been published within your line of interest, you'll be notified that a particular paper has been published, and you're able to read the abstract. Then if you pick interest, you can go on and explore the body of that particular paper. People who have published, you have seen scenarios where they recommend you to read to cite recent studies. So if you have your Google profile, Google Scholar account profile well set, you'll get these updates. You'll be able to know what are some of the recent research findings that have been published within your area of interest. So you'll always get dizzy alerts. I've already talked about the the citation tracking, whereby you're able to know who is citing your work. So I will not explain a lot about this. Then the last point about the benefits of Google Scholar. This one is about building our mighty university, Kabale University. When we talk about university ranking, Google, I mean the web metrics, which is the world recognized institution that rank universities according to their performance, it picks content from Google Scholar. How does this happen? 10% of 10% of the ranking metric is picked from Google Scholar profile. So when all staff members have Google Scholar accounts with a backlink set on their accounts, redirecting to Kabale University website, we score 10% of, it contributes 10% of our rankings. And 50% of the of the scores come from the top cited. I mean that it comes from the top, the most cited papers in each of the 27 disciplines that are considered by the web metrics. So when you have a Google Scholar account and you have Kabale University email, your email as the verified email, and your work gets cited. So this is a plus to Kabale University in terms of ranking. Therefore, it's a good strategy for each and every staff member to have a Google Scholar account, because you'll be contributing to this 50% as far as university ranking is concerned. There are quite many benefits of having a Google Scholar account, but I think for the interest of time, I will stop on those. But now you can go ahead and explore more what are some of the benefits that you get by having a Google Scholar account. At this point, as I say that we are going to be discussing at the same time doing some hands-on work. Now it's high time for us to get our hands dirty with practical part of it to set up a Google Scholar account. I know there are some staff members who have the accounts. Those who don't have, you can work along with me as I am setting up. I am going to go through step by step by showing you how you can create a Google Scholar account, how you can claim papers, and then from there we shall see how we can update our university, our staff profile with the Google Scholar link. So for those who have computers, you can work with me. For those who don't have, you can put some steps down. And at the end of the day, I shall also produce a recorded video demonstrating the step-by-step process of creating a Google Scholar account. So at this point, allow me stop sharing the slides. Then I will open, I'll share my browser. Then we go step by step with creating a Google Scholar account. I hope now my screen is visible for the browser. Sandra, could you please help me confirm if the browser is visible? Sandra, is the browser visible? Like, is my are you able to see that?
Yes, it is visible.
The browser part, not the slides.
Yes, please. The browser is visible.
Sandra?
Yes, Vincent, the browser is visible.
Okay. So I'm going to use my colleague's account to demonstrate. Now, if I go to kab.ac.ug, if you go to kab.ac.ug, as you can see there, then I go to computing services, where I'm going to find one of my colleagues' account that I'm going to use to demonstrate, and that colleague is called Aja Sharon. If I go to her profile, you can see there is no any link that links to our. So there's no link that goes to her Google Scholar profile. So what we are going to do, we are going to create an account for Aja Sharon, Google Scholar account. We claim her publications in case she has some. If she does not have, it is also okay. The account still will be set, and in the future, in case she publishes work, she'll be able to claim that paper or that publication. So you can see here there's nothing. So we cannot trace her online, I mean her Google Scholar, I mean her papers. So we can't see those her details on Google Scholar. So how do we start? The first step to create a Google Scholar account is to log into your Gmail account, your personal account, not the university account. So for my case, I already logged into her email, the personal email. So the first step is you log into your Gmail account, then you will proceed with creating Google Scholar. So after logging into your Gmail account, I'm going to open another tab here. Then you type in Google Scholar. So you type in Google Scholar and you press and you press enter, you'll have a list of options. But the first option here, it's called Google Scholar. The domain is scholar.google.com. So you click on this option for Google Scholar, then your interface will look like this, as you can see on my screen. Ensure that the account that is logged in is your Gmail account. As you can see here, I'm logged into ajashaon@gmail.com. So ensure that you're logged in. If you're not logged in, there is an option here to log in. So after logging in, there is this an option here called My Profile. So this is where our interest is. So you click on My Profile. When you click on My Profile, you'll be able to see this simple form, and it will indicate the email that is logged in at the moment. So you can even switch accounts. So there's no way you can give an excuse that I am not sure whether I'm logged into my Gmail or not. Okay. Then your name, of course, is listed as you provided to Google. Then the next step is affiliation. Now, this is where you put the academic institution where you're affiliated to. Now, Aja Sharon is an assistant ICT officer. Then you put a comma, then you put a space, Kabale University. Okay, now this is how you put an affiliation. So someone can say professor of physics, Kabale University, assistant lecturer, economics, comma space, Kabale University. So you know your different your different affiliations. So I'm using assistant ICT officer because I know Sharon belongs to that. That is her affiliation. Now, next is the email for verification. Now, this is where you put Kabale University email. Your personal KAB email is what you put here. So by putting this email here, Google Scholar or the web metrics, people who are ranking, they will track you through the Kabale domain because our email ends with at kab.ac.ug. So Sharon's email is sharon@kab.ac.ug. So at this point, you put your KAB email. Now, area of interest. Unfortunately, I don't know her area of interest, but I'm just going to put something. Now, area of interest. Now, when I was explaining about Google Scholar's customizing your account whereby you're able to receive notifications of work that has been published in your area of interest. This is where now Google picks those details. Okay, now I'm assuming Sharon is her interest is in gender equality. Okay, so she can have multiple, maybe a female involvement in ICT, something like that. So I'll stop there. I will not put multiple. She will edit account. So you put your areas of interest. You don't put so many because at some point they will limit you the number of characters. Now the last option is the home page. This one is very, very important. It's what you call the backlink, that when someone is on your Google Scholar account, they can refer back to your Kabale University staff profile. So if the link we put here, we get to from the website. So I'll go to the website. Okay. If I am at this, I'm on home page. You'll of course navigate to your personal profile. Okay, so in your different faculties, for example, you go under academic units, then you look for your faculty, then you'll be able to trace your profile. Or you can even search for your name using this global search section where you can type your name. For example, if I put Aja, even if I don't know where to find the link, I just put Aja Sharon. Then I press search. Of course, I'll get results. So you can see I have Aja Sharon is here. So I'll click on this name. And now what comes here, it is the link that I'm talking about. So you highlight this link, then you copy that link. After copying that link, come to our Google Scholar account setup page. Then you paste this link here. After pasting this link, you click next. When you click next, the second step is to claim articles. What do you mean by claiming articles? Claiming articles, you're trying to create a pool, or you're trying to fetch all of your papers and put them in one collection, so that if someone clicks on your staff, clicks on the Google Scholar link on your staff profile, they will find all your publications in one collection. So if I put, by default to search by your name, but now my colleague Shaun may not be having any publication. So I'll try to claim mine, because if you don't claim any paper, Google Scholar will not allow you to proceed the next step. So you can claim a friend's paper, then later you can delete it. You can claim it for the sake of setting up an account. So I'll just claim mine because I have some work that I've done before.
The procedure, please.
So I'll claim after putting the name, then of course you can search. There's this button search here. So after typing the name of your colleague whom you know that he has work, so you can claim. So I'm going to claim, I think, like one of them. Let me just claim this. Okay, so I've claimed this one paper. So after that, they can even show you the number of the papers selected. So it will select them. This paper might be in quite a number of databases. For example, it is in KAB, IDR, and somewhere else in the journal where I published it. So they will show you a collection of papers that have been selected. So you can select all the papers that you have worked on. So we have just selected one for the demonstration purposes. Okay. Now after that, you click on this button here. Okay. When you click here, it will add these papers. Now the next step is settings. This is where you personalize your account. Now, do you want to apply updates automatically? Of course, you know, these tools, they are always updated on a daily basis. So you have to leave this option selected. Then profile visibility. So you have to make your profile publicly available so that people can know what you're doing. You know, research is about knowledge dissemination or knowledge sharing. So if you don't make your work public, then you're selfish. So you make your work, you make your profile public. Then from there, forward by emails. That is, do you want to get notification in case a new article related to your work is published
If the answer is yes, then you check this. So this will help you to know what is happening in your research interest. In case your work is cited, for example, you published a paper and someone has cited it, you want to know who has cited your work, and maybe you want to read and see what they have written about. So you go ahead and also tick that option. After that, you click done. So you can see the steps are very few. Now our account is set. And you can see that I claimed some papers. Then this interface, now it is your home screen for Google Scholar account. This side, you can see people who have cited you for the past 5 years. Then you can see your H index. This is the magnitude or the how relevant is your work to that particular area of interest. Okay. Now at this point, we can see Aja Sharon's page is set. Then you see there is a section called home page, but the email is not yet verified. Sharon does not have a profile picture. Okay, but we can see her research interest is gender equality, female involvement in ICT. This is what we said. Now the next step is we need to verify the email, because Google doesn't deal with forgeries. You have to verify that the email that you're putting, it belongs to you. So to verify the email, you click on this option here. The moment you click, so they will ask, they will send a verification link to your KAB staff email. So you click resend in case it's not there. If I go to Shawn's Gmail, you can see the link is here, Google Scholar verification. So you click on that link, then you see an option, this one where they say verify address. So you click on this option. Now you can see Aja Shawn's KAB email is the verified email, and she has this link which we added as a homepage. In case I click this link, if I click this link, you can see it takes me back to her personal profile on Kabale University website. So that is a home link. So I'll go back to this point. Now she does not have a profile pic, so we need to put this. People need to know who is Sharon. Okay. So how do you do this? You can upload a profile photo. It's always good to put a good profile, and you can see on our when they are setting up your staff profile, they always take a good photo. If you don't have a nice photo to put here, you just go to your staff profile, like here on Sharon's profile, then download this photo. It's a good one. Okay, so you download that photo that is attached to your account by just right clicking. Then there is a section, an option to save the photo. So I will just save it under downloads. Then after downloading this photo from the website, I'll come back here. Then I click in this icon here. So when you click here, oh, there is also an option here, add the photo. So you can either click here or here. So when I click on add the photo, of course, this is a photo I've downloaded. Then I'll click open. It's going to be set up in just a few seconds. Now Shawn's Google Scholar account is set. So that's all you need to do. Now, after doing this and you have claimed the papers which don't belong to you, because we did for the sake of creating an account, now you can drop these papers. How do you drop them? By selecting them. Okay, once you select one or two or multiple, then this button called delete. So you'll click here. These papers, they will go, but your account will stay. In the future, in case you publish work, it's just a matter of coming here. You click on this button, then say add the article. Then that article will automatically appear. As long as this field has your name, it will automatically appear here. So you'll be able to select it. The moment you select it, this button will become active and you add your paper. For instance, if this was her paper, you can see this button has become active. So if I click here, this paper is added here. Okay, so that is the process of claiming future research. Now, Shawn's account is set. So that is how briefly you can set up a Google Scholar account. Now, to add on this, we are supposed to see how to utilize Google Scholar to search for papers and navigating it, getting latest publications, as far as your area of interest is concerned. Now, putting aside the Google Scholar account setup and claiming papers, which we have looked at, next, let's see how you can navigate Google Scholar. So I'll open a new tab here, okay? Then I type Google Scholar. Okay, then I search this again. Now, at this point, when you're searching Google Scholar, you're encouraged to use what you call keywords. So keywords, they make your search, the filtering process so effective to get the papers that you need. Now, if I may, I'm assuming I'm Sharon and I want to know about female involvement in ICT. Those are just a few search words. So after that, I click here. So Google is going to give me a number of papers. You can see there are around 10 pages that have results. But all these pages, some contain work which was published like 12 years back, 15 years back, 20 years back, 5 years, 2 years. And you know, when it comes to writing manuscripts, we are encouraged to limit our literature at most 5 years. Or if the field is, maybe if the field is too complex and there are few, maybe there are few research, people who have carried out research, maximum 10, but 5 years are okay. So how do you do that? To filter out those old publications, there's this section here, you can see, okay? So here, there's a section called Customize Range. So you just click on this button, then you put, maybe I want to start from 2019, okay? Then to date, so I may not put this because it will search up to 2024 because it knows that this is the current year. Or you may put 2024. Or if you want up 2023, okay? So you just put this, then after you click search. So when you click search, your results are going to be limited to only the recent 5 years. As you can see in our work, we have 2020, 2019. So you cannot have a paper of 2005, 2010. It will not be included in your search. So this is the best way to get latest work by customizing your search, customizing the range of years that you want to search. Now, when you find a paper that is interesting, and maybe it's in some research, some fields, you find that there are few papers that have been published. So how do you find other related publications that have been published in that same domain? So there's this section called cited by. So this cited by, these papers are always recent compared to this particular paper. So you can click on this section, on this link called cited by, open a new page. So you will see all the papers that have cited the other work. In most cases, there is a connection between what they have cited and this paper and those who have cited that work. So in this way, you get new recent related work, that particular paper that you have read and it is interesting. Next is related articles. Okay, now these related articles, they are fetched based on the search keywords. So even this section of related articles, you can find interesting readings related to this particular paper. So you can also click on this link, then they will give you a list of papers that are related to that particular paper. So by doing so, you're getting recent work that is lined with that particular paper that you have read. Next is, you may find a paper and you don't have time, you don't have time to read it at the moment, but you don't want to forget it, okay? Google Scholar has an option where you can save this paper. So by clicking on this icon here, so if I click save, you can see that this paper, I can create a list of my papers, okay? Maybe let me say I add a list and I call it interesting papers, or maybe you can name it anything. Let me just call it to read. Let me call them must read. So, okay. So I have added that. Now, if I go to my library here, now after adding this paper, I've saved it. If I go here to my library, you can see this paper has been added. So I can read it on a later date. Okay. So in case I'm done with reading it, you can proceed with deleting this particular paper. Of course, it will disappear and you go back to your articles. Now, there are some work whereby you find some publications are for pay, like where you're supposed to pay for them in order to access them. But I've not consulted, but I know there are some libraries where there are some databases where the university subscribes, and in case a paper is for buying, you can still access it at a free cost. But there are some papers which are published in open access journals. So such papers, if you want to locate or to find a PDF version of that paper, you can see besides here on at the extreme end here, you can see there it's either an HTML link or a PDF link. For example, this one, trend openness, FDI, blah, blah, blah. So there's this section here. It is published under wild.com. So in case I click on this link, it automatically loads the PDF version or where I can download this article. So you can see there is a link here for downloading this paper. So this is how you can get the PDF version of that publication. Those which don't have, sometimes you find that maybe it's for buying, or maybe the author has not provided a free, a PDF version of that particular work. That means you have to go direct to the website of the journal that published that work and obtain a PDF version of that particular work, a full paper. Or at some point, some people put them on ResearchGate, so you can also still go there and find that paper. But this section, you can easily find the PDF version of that work. Then lastly, Google Scholar, it also provides a hint on how to cite. Now you see this section here called cite. So in case you click on this link, Google will give you a multiple versions how this paper can be cited. For example, MLA, the APA, Chicago, Harvard, Vancouver, okay? So you can also get the references from here. So if you copy this, you can take it to your work and use it as a reference. However, at some point, it may not be accurate. So you have to compare how Google Scholar has aligned the different sections vis-a-vis the referencing style that you're using. So you have to cross-check. Sometimes you may find it's not accurate. So you have to cross-check, but this is but this one is also at some point you may find it is accurate, sometimes it's not accurate. So you have to compare and ensure that the referencing style that you're using, it is complying with this, or Google Scholar is complying with the protocol you're supposed to follow as far as referencing and citation is concerned. So those are the few things I can share about navigating Google Scholar. I've talked about searching Google Scholar using keywords, navigating the screen, the interface of Google Scholar to find latest work, saving work on your library, and also limiting the search range. So that is about Google Scholar, account setting up and navigating Google Scholar interface. Now I'll go back to our other section of the presentation to catch up with time. I see it is 10. I don't know what time I'm supposed to end, but let me try to be fast. Let me share my screen again. Is my screen visible? Okay. Am I able to navigate? Is it navigating?
Yes, it is.
Okay, now we have talked about Google Scholar, setting up accounts. We have seen how you can get research work from Google Scholar. Now, finding a reputable journal. For people who have published before, you know how much time you need to put in order to have a good quality manuscript. Now, after putting your good manuscript, you have gone through a lot of bounces and all that. Your work bounces back and they give you comments, you work on them. At the end of the day, there is no, at some point, there are no direct benefits to this work, especially in terms of finances. You have to put in work to publish at some point. For those people who are published in other, in journals that are not open access, I mean that requires publishing fee. Now, if you publish your work in a proprietary journal, it's one of the most discomforting situations. So it's always good to mind about where do you put your work, because it's not about how many papers you have published. You can have like 100 papers, but when they have no impact, okay? So it's better to have your work published in good journals. If your work is put in a good journal, your profile is going to be rich. People are going to cite you. It's going to get maximum attention because you have put it in a reputable journal whereby each and everyone trusts that journal. So they will find it interesting to read. So do not risk your work by putting it in a predatory journal, because at the end of the day, you will be wasting your efforts. The output or the rate at which this paper is going to be read, it's going to be discouraging, and you may not even proceed with publishing work. Now, what do we mean by a reputable journal or a non-predatory journal? It's that journal that upholds high standards of academic integrity, peer review, and ethical publishing practices. Now, how do we tell, or what are some of the features that you may base on to tell that this is a reputable journal or it's not? Okay, one, the peer review process. If you go to websites for these journals, you'll find that there is always a section where they will show you the roadmap, how your paper is going to be peer reviewed, okay? The process they take, the format, some of them, they even give a template, the process to take to be reviewed. So if you read it through and you don't see, if this information is not clear to you, do not waste your paper by putting it in that particular journal. Then the editorial board. In different journals, they will put profile of their experts who are involved in peer reviewing or evaluating the papers. You read through, see who are they, where do they work, what is their research footprints, what have they done? Okay, so you'll be able to see if they are real good, if they are real reputable scholars who have the knowledge or the expertise that is needed to evaluate a manuscript to confirm whether it's really good for publishing or not. Then next is transparency. They outline the publication process, indicating the peer review process and author guidelines. If you see a paper, a journal, you send your work in just one day, they will tell you your work has been passed, please pay money, we publish. In just one day, then that means there's something that is not clear by that particular journal. Then indexing and impact factor. As we shall see, the impact factor, they range from Q1 up to Q4. We shall see that as we come to the practical part of it. So look at the impact factor. Is this paper indexed by respected databases like Scopus? So if it's not indexed, that means there is a problem somewhere. So you have to be very careful. Then does it adhere to ethical standards? There are some papers, there are some journals whereby you send your manuscript, before you publish it, it has been published by someone else. So you may put your paper, your work there, and instead of reviewing your work, they end up stealing your manuscript and they publish it somewhere else without you. So you have to be very careful by ensuring that this journal that where I'm sending my work, it adheres to the ethical standards. Then the editorial policies. There are standards which are considered when they are the editorial board that considers that's which kind of paper they what type of referencing type are we supposed to use, what's the maximum number of how is the content supposed to flow, how are the sections supposed to be presented, you know. So you have to look at that. There's some paper that I read of recent. I found it has 2 referencing tiles. It has IEEE, it has Harvard, and it's the same paper. Then I asked myself, is real the journal did the needful? So you have to look at the editorial policies. What are the policies? What are the steps that they've considering for the paper to be passed as a good journal to be presented? Now, you see these parameters, they are not very easy to master, okay? Therefore, there are quite a number of bodies that have come on board to help scholars not to follow culprits of publishing work in predatory journals, okay? So they are quite a collection of databases that can help you to locate trustworthy journals in your specific fields. And here we have some of them. One of them that's commonly known to majority of us who have published is Scopus. So Scopus is a comprehensive research database that indexes peer-reviewed journal articles. So if you want to confirm whether the journal where you're publishing your work is a reputable journal, you can search for it on Scopus. As we're going to do that, we shall say how to do that, okay, practically. Then the next database is called Directorate of Open Access Journals. These are journals which publish. They are authentic, but they don't charge publishing fee. So there is also this database where you can search and confirm whether the paper whether the journal is genuine. Next is PubMed Central. This one is not a comprehensive research database, but is an archive that is freely available, and its interest is specifically for biomedical and life science journals. So for those people who are from KAB or people who are doing health-related studies, for example, you're in computing, but maybe you're doing some work to do with maybe diagnosis of a particular disorder using a machine learning, or any work, even if it's a mathematical model, as long as it is in line with health, within the field of health, you can publish your work in this journals that are curated by PubMed. Another databases are the subject-specific databases. Different associations have come up with a collection of journals where you can put work as long as you're in that field. Some of the common subject-specific databases is IEEE Explorer. This is for engineering. People from engineering, they must be knowing this database. So all journals that, as long as they're indexed by IEEE Explorer, you can do that, okay? Then there is ERIC. Then there are, I think this is a repetition, and they also what to call institution library recommendations. I believe even our library has a recommendation. If you go there, they can recommend some journals where you can publish your work. Now I'm going to do a quick one. I see time has gone. Let me show you how you can navigate Scopus to tell whether the journal where you're publishing your work is predatory or not. So how do you do that? You go to your browser. I'm going to do a quick one. Time is not on my side. You go to your browser. I hope my browser is visible. Then just type in scopus.com or Scopus to bring you the option. Now you come under Scopus. It will, when the browser loads, just a few seconds. My internet is misbehaving, but I'm sure it's almost displaying what I want to see. Then as I'm searching that, let me also put PubMed Central. No, this one is okay. It has come. Now, when you open Scopus, okay, scroll down. There's this link called View Journal Rankings. So you click here on View Journal Rankings. It will give you some interface here. So you can see the top ranked journals in this list, but the list is too big. It has thousands and thousands of journals. Now, if you have a particular journal where you want to publish your work, just come here and type the journal. Okay, I'll give an example. There's this journal. Let me search a journal. Let me say, let me search. Maybe let me search IET, image processing. I've published some work here, so I know this journal. So that's why I'm using it. So if I click here, find the source, okay, they will tell you if the journal exists. So you can see this journal exists. It's not predatory. The site score is 4.5. Highest IST percentile is 63. Citations for the past between 2019 and 2022. So you can see the details and you can explore them if you scroll this side down. Okay, you can see the H index, it's and the publisher, who is the publisher of that particular journal. So you can put your journal, whatever the title here, and you search for that particular journal. You'll be able to tell whether it's a genuine or not a genuine journal. Then when it comes to PubMed, for them it is very easy. When you load PubMed, you can just come to their website here, then you download a list of their journals. But I've already downloaded these journals. I'm going to share a list of these journals. So you can come here on PubMed, and there is a link where you can download the list of all journals. I'd seen the link is somewhere. Let me see if I can get the link. I'm not seeing it, but there's a section where you can see a link and download a list of these papers. The good thing I downloaded them, I will share a list. So briefly, in conclusion, that's all about how you can find a reputable journal. You can search some of those databases I've talked about. Then you put the title of the name of the journal and confirm whether it is predatory or not. So if it's not indexed by some of those big indexing platforms, I think here in Africa, the common one is African Journals Online. It is also an indexing company. So you can also search that. But I use Scopus because it is commonly known. So with that, allow me stop there. Thank you so much for listening. Back to you, Sandra.
Well, thank you so much, Vincent, for putting up such a wonderful presentation on a comprehensive Google Scholar. So briefly, we'll request some of us with questions to raise your hand or type our questions in the chat so that Vincent Mabirizi can answer some of these. There's someone who was requesting for some demonstration somewhere. I don't know whether that member is still in the chat. That was Mr. Kabuye Wamala. He also had questions. So those with questions in line with the presentation Mr. Vincent Mabirizi made, we can just raise a hand or type our questions in the chat. You can also unmute and ask your question. He's going to get back to us. Thank you.
Okay, I have a question. My name is Godfrey Sempungu. I work at Kabale University. First of all, I need to appreciate Vincent for the presentation, but also want to thank the staff that have thought that this presentation adds to their value. Thank you for participating. Now, my first question, Vincent, kindly share the email and other possible phone number in the chat that people can use to be able to contact you, because this is not a one-off. People should really be able to always contact you as and when they need it to, because these platforms are continuous process, part of a going concern, where on a daily basis, as new updates come up in your scholarly profile, you keep on adding them and making sure that you're up to date. I know most often we update our CVs when there is a job or or an evaluation due, but technically your online profile is visited every day, and we would hope that people should continually make this a practice, that as developments come up, they update. And when they are challenged, then they find it easy to contact you, Vincent, for support or any other persons. Additionally, we could also wish to know where do you sit, so that we also can be able to reach out for further support, especially regarding the scholarly profiles that we need. Probably my last one would be, would an administrative or support staff need to have a scholarly profile? Does this add to their promotion at Kabale University? This is probably something our Chief of Human Resource can be able to answer. Because oftentimes when you have such scholarly presentations, people would think it's only for academic staff. So if I were to be evaluated doing performance reviews, would an academic profile or growth in that direction be an aspect for evaluation, and is it needed for admin, non-teaching staff in principle? That is my. We are having feedback on your side. Probably you have two microphones.
Can I respond to these questions? Let me first respond to this. Thank you, Mr.
Vincent, we have feedback and echo in your side.
Questions about the email and the phone number I've shared them. So you can get them. My colleague has also shared the link. Now, the question is it publishing or having a Go Scholar account for only teaching staff? I would definitely say as long as you're working in an academic institution, and maybe you may not even be working in an academic institution, we are all working towards achieving the core mandate of an academic institution. And core number two is the knowledge creation and dissemination. That is research. I think publishing work is not only for teaching staff members. I think even an administrator, it has no harm for you to publish. Sharing is caring. So if you have something that you can disseminate and benefit the society, why not? Personally, I'm not a teaching staff for the past 2 years, but I've published 2 papers for the past 1 year, and I'm not a teaching staff. So I think having a Go Scholar account, it can be for everyone. I think we shouldn't be known by our Facebook, WhatsApp, Twitter, Instagram, and LinkedIn. So having a Go Scholar account, I think it should be for everyone, as long as you're an academic institution, because it is contributing towards achieving that core objective. I mean, core role 2, which is knowledge creation. Thank you.
Thank you, Vincent. Thank you so much for that wonderful presentation. In relation to what Sempungu asked, whether publication adds value as far as promotional department is concerned. Where is the feedback coming from? All right. So I want to say that for those who have entered into an interview room. Hello? Yes, for those who have entered into an interview room, you have sat before an interview panel. There is that critical question that will never miss: your research competence. They'll only ask you, do you have any research knowledge? Do you know what a research is? So for a person who has done publication, absolutely, that's where now you come in to prove to the panel that actually you're a researcher, you're a generator of knowledge, and you give your evidence of the articles that you published. So for a person who comes and simply states that, yes, I understand, I know what a research is, just by virtue of you, maybe I've done it through dissertations, school research proposal, you'll not have an edge of a person who has had publication articles. So it absolutely counts when it comes to adding to your profile as far as promotion is concerned. So that's what I can say. As Mabirizi, I want to say that this is quite a critical presentation. Brace yourself that we shall be coming back to you. I see the number of attendance was just around average around 35, 38. But I feel this is still a very critical area, a gray area where most of us are grappling with. I'm sure maybe the challenge was the dissemination, but we shall be coming back to you again to have that presentation made again. Otherwise, thank you so much.
Thank you, Chief. We have Mr. Atwachi Moses with your hand raised up. You can unmute yourself and ask your question. Atwachire?
This is Godfrey again, as Mr. Twachiri tries to get his way around. Vincent, my other question is, I'm building this on also the answer given by Chiforum, that we could also in the next one also have students participating, because we have graduate and postgraduate students who also can have a very prominent profile adding onto the count of the university, because as graduate students, many of them are already practicing professionally. So probably in this next one, we need to even extend the invitation to include those. They would actually benefit a lot from knowing that their profiles at the moment matters. So it's just an addendum, which I think you just need to take note for the subsequent one. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Godfrey. We have Mr. Ivan Kayeti Mugabe with their hand raised. Ivan?
Yes, thank you for today's presentation. Apologies, I struggled to get in due to internet issues. But my question to Mr. Vincent is in relation to the profiles are well designed, very excellent, and very insightful. But then what of the challenge of some people who pick our contacts from these forums? Because on that profile there is we put our personal contact numbers, mobile phones, emails. But then you find that some people, out strangers there in the world, they go out on these Kabale profiles and then they look up maybe your details and they begin sending messages, and these are probably spammers or, fraudsters or something of the kind. I don't know what we shall do to ensure that maybe this data is not misused by people out there. Thank you.
Mr. Vincent, do you have? Okay.
Could I answer that? Because that is not for Vincent. What he's talking about is a website profile. Vincent was talking about adding the Google profile and other scholarly platforms to you to make it possible. But my understanding is asking about contact information you find on the university website profile. Now, probably the question is, are the benefits outweighing the costs? And together we can brainstorm around that. My thinking is that any academic around the world should be easy to find. And that was the rationale. We have contacted the scholars across the world, whether you go to ResearchGate, any of these serious platforms you go to, people are able to connect, whether LinkedIn, people should be able to contact you. And that is why it is advisable, even for us, you can have an office email there. It's not compulsory to have the personal email, the Gmail or something. As long as you have an office email which ceases to work when you leave the service of Kabale, that is okay. But I could talk about the benefits. I've personally been able to get several connections because somebody has checked your profile. And they also are able to verify other things, because when you're in a certain official position in Kabale University, people will always want to contact you in regard to that. So as far as I know that technology allows us to be able to control those who interact with us. If you see an email which definitely does not seem to add value, you can we can guide you on how you can flag that, such that any emails that come from it never reach you. And that the same happens with phone numbers, because the world is getting more and more connected. So if they're thinking that when we go offline, we are safe, that is not really serving, because as the world gets connected, the benefits of being connected are higher. You can imagine if all of us were supposed to be in a hall in Kabale University to attend this talk. But your WhatsApp gets you connected immediately. By getting a link, you log on, you are connected to everybody and you are benefiting. So at the moment, I believe we shall be able to engage even with the dicts and see how else can we increase the safety and security. But the advantages of us having our contacts there are having a better good than if you, of course, you want 1 or 2. And I can tell you without fear that today in the 21st century, your phone number can no longer remain a secret. I sometimes get a lot of calls from people. Somebody asks, oh, I need someone in Kabale, and a friend shares your phone number to a group where there are so many, Sempung Godfrey, Communications Kabale. And people still get it even if it's not on the website, because the world is connected in several forums. You don't even have to know where they're discussing the university, and somebody says, there's a chief human resource officer, it's called Samson. They will drop Samson's contact on a WhatsApp chat group with 1,000 people. So still they will call you and say, are you the one in charge of this? So my thinking is that technology allows us other safer methods of engagement, and we can probably be able as a team to explore this. But hiding away is definitely keeping only the few of us who are hiding from connecting to the bigger picture. And we should, I think, be able to discuss some of these and see how the future can ensure more safety for our staff, but also with the knowledge that there are abilities today to block anything that comes your way that you are not interested in. And I would ask that on average, from January to December, how many wrong calls do you get? You definitely don't get more than 10. And yet those good ones surpass the negative ones. So we always have a few outliers in every situation, and those I think we can handle on a case by case basis. Thank you.
Thank you too, Mr. Godfrey. Mr. Twachide, your hand is still up. If you have a question, can you please unmute and ask?
Okay, thank you, Sandra. I'm Moses, and currently I'm in China doing a PhD in mechanical engineering. I'm very happy to have listened about what Mr. Vincent have talked about, but basically I have one question about predatory journals. Here and the rest of the world, there are some journals which are clearly, when you check in the Scopus, you find they are clearly indicated there. But when you go to some universities, they clearly tell you that these journals are listed among the predatory journal. Among those lists, I remember Professor Iga Natal listed some of the journals, and some journals were in the MDPI. Those journals, some when you search in Scopus, you find they are indexed there. But some universities, they listed them as predatory journals. So is there any way how the university can continue updating us on the list of the predatory journals, even when we clearly know that you can search through Scopus, Web of Science, and so on, you get some which are listed there, but we get out of that problem. Then secondly, me being an engineer, we have engineering index. It is also one of the big websites where someone can get some good journals. However much it is, the ranking is somehow different from Scopus and so on. I would like to know whether that one is also listed among the best journals according to Kabale University. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that wonderful insight and the question. Now, about some journals being indexed in Scopus.
Is it okay?
Yes.
Okay, sorry, I was muted initially. So I was saying that having a journal, the university claiming that it is predatory, and now in its corpus is listed. There's some technology issues. Let me. I think now it's okay. Is it okay now? Okay. I was saying that a journal can be indexed. I mean, the university may claim that the journal is predatory, and then
Vincent, we are still getting an echo from you. It's like you are using two microphones.
The content in Scopus is updated after a specific period of time. And over time, a journal may be reputable today, and in the next 2 to 3 or 5 months is listed among a predatory due to failure to fulfill the criteria which they use to classify it whether it is predatory or non-predatory, or maybe if it fails to consistently adhere to those parameters which they use. So Scopus is, if you check right now, the information they have, it is indexed up to 2023, 2022, around there. So there is always that time lag when they have not updated it. So I think it is like you've said, it's our concern to always follow up on different databases to see what they say about this journal and provide this list oftenly to the staff members so that they are able. So we are not going to rely only on Scopus, but also other databases. In case it's predatory, then we can clearly tell the staff that this is now a predatory journal. Then there's a question asked about if the university, you talked about the engineering index, whether it is it's a genuine indexing platform. So I think this one, I may not give you a direct answer right now because I've not researched about it. But I wish if I had someone from the library right now to throw some hint about it. But I'm going to do a survey. I'm going to search about it, and I'll communicate later after getting the first-hand information. Then, Sandra, there was also a question in the chat by Herbert asking that does the publication and profile help in the promotion of assistant lecturers? I would request that Chief Olum respond to this question, if he's still on.
Sorry, come again. I didn't get the question. I was kind of attending something. Come again with that question.
I was saying that there is a question in the chat. A colleague asked, that is Herbert, that does a publication and profile help in promotion of assistant lecturers? In other words, is asking if someone publishes work, does it contribute to promotion of an assistant lecturer? I think that's the question.
Yes, it definitely does. That's what I can say. Because as an academician, publication is part and parcel of recruiting an academician. So imagine why you're two people competing for a position of assistant lecturer. Trust me, if it is the same one position that you're competing for, the one who has publication stands as an edge over you who has no any single publication. So that is how it works. So it works really. And then to Sempung also clarified on non-academician, whether publication is really adds value to them.
Okay, Sandra, back to you. I think I've answered the other question, and the Chief Forum has answered the Herbert about the question.
Well, I think that's all, unless there is any other member with a question, but that is all. We have, let me see, Elizabeth Natukunda, who said, thanks, Mr. Vincent, and Namara Fiona, who said, good presentation and very educative. This presentation and its contents are going to be uploaded to the university website. So when you go to the website under research, research at KAB, there is workshops, seminars, and conferences. You can click there to access this presentation, and you can also share it with your colleagues who missed this online session. So as we come to the end of this enlightening episode of our KAB Chats, we would like to thank Mr. Vincent Mabilizi for sharing his knowledge and bringing us together through an exploration of Google Scholar. Next week, the 24th, it will be a Wednesday, same time from 9. We will have Mr. Robert Tubusime. He is the Senior E-Learning Officer with a topic, Generative AI and its applications for university officers and academicians. You don't have to miss this one. Tell your colleagues next week, same time. And thank you once again. See you in our next exciting episode of KAB Chats. Have a great day. Bye.